example for us to see that it's doable, because sometimes people just feel, oh, it's a pipe dream. It is doable. We can lift our people out of poverty if we do the right things. But secondly, there are also lessons to learn, because we know that in our industrialization, we have to do it slightly differently. We have to do it with a bigger mix of renewable clean energy so that we don't end up with a lot of pollution and polluting the planet. We are lucky that now, when we are trying to take off in terms of industrialization, there are also technologies that maybe were not so easy to get 20, 30 years ago. Secondly, China can also give us access to resources, financial resources for our own development, not only in terms of aid, but also in terms of low interest loans. So I think it's a very good relationship. They also have to gain. China is going to be relocating billions worth of manufacturing to other parts of the world. We hope that some of it can come here, but we also want to train our people so that they can be innovators, not just working in lower end jobs, but some of them should be innovators, entrepreneurs themselves, and those that are not entrepreneurs can also get good jobs. So training is very important at all levels, from the high level engineering down to vocational training in artisans in many areas. Energy generation I've mentioned, modernizing agriculture, because we're spending billions and billions of dollars importing food, but we have the biggest arable land that is not used. So it's a contradiction. So we need to use that arable land to improve our agricultural productivity. We must modernize, and we must get into all the value chains, not just the raw again, but into the value chain, so that we also do agro-processing. So all these things are the things that we are going to be cooperating with them. And they are things that they themselves have done successfully. So I think it's a good...
There is a perception that China coming to the continent is another form of colonization. In other words, we are likely to find ourselves in a similar position where we had our colonizers coming to the continent and not really doing much to help the people of the continent. How do we ensure that that perception is not a reality, but we address the perception?
That's why it's so important to know what you want. And we have Agenda 2063, which we have defined ourselves as our development path. So anyone who comes to partner us has to partner us in terms of implementation of Agenda 2063. If you don't know what you want, people will come and they will know what they want. But if you know what you want, then you can negotiate and you can come to an agreement about what needs to be done. Secondly, well, China is not going to start colonizing Africa now. We are not in a position to be colonized. Are you in a position to be colonized? I don't think we are. And I don't think we'll allow it. But as I say, now we know what we want. Whoever comes now must come in those terms. But like all countries, China also has its own interest. It doesn't mean that it's coming for charity. It has its own interest, but our partnership is based on where those interests cross. So where our interests are the same as theirs, we are able to work together. And I don't think we are going to be colonized. I think the people who say that loudest are our previous colonizers. And probably it's people who are not keen. The biggest partners of China are themselves the ones who are saying China is coming to colonize Africa. But it's important for Africa, as I say, to know what it wants, and to then, China knows what it wants, we know what we want, then we see where our paths are complementary.
Thank you for your time, Chair.
Okay.
All the best with the coming summit in January.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
Ngiyabonga ma.
Okay.
Thanks, thanks. Thank you.
Why not touching it? Kuphela lo kataloga tshela lethi bena
Morning, morning. Morning, morning, morning. Studio morning. How's it going? I'm good, thanks. And how are you? There's a lot of noise, though. It's not clean. All right. Yeah, I'm saying whoever can do something about it, please do.
Let me just interject there. For a senator, he's going to be standing. Sure. Oh, okay.
Chairman.
You're right. Okay, is this mic better? Much better. Better. For the rest of your life. I hear nothing. Okay. I am, but I can't hear what it's saying. It's very gobbled up. Hmm? It's better. Okay, cool. They're coming to us after this. I know. Yebo. Eh? Well, thanks very much, Tumi. Well, we're expecting that big behind closed doors meeting to start any time from now, and that is where they will essentially be concluding everything that has been said and done here over the past 24 hours or so. There have several meetings have been taking place, bilaterals between China and some of the countries on the continent, business to business relations, but also individual business entities and personalities having conversations with the Chinese around that $60 billion investment. Who exactly is going to benefit? How? What are the conditionalities? We heard yesterday that they will range from interest-free loans to specific categories of loans that are easier on those that will have to pay back, but also that will ensure that maximum benefits are actually derived from the investment. So we will get hopefully a more nuanced sense of what exactly is going to happen. Both the President of South Africa and the President of China will give us a sense in their concluding remarks as to what that nuance view is going to be, but also perhaps answer that big question, because nobody seems to be convinced, and the allegation seems to be refusing to go away. And that allegation is whether, in fact, what we are talking about here is highly skewed or heavily skewed in China's favor, and really it's not so much of a win-win solution that is being worked out here, but we're talking more of a big win for China and maybe some smaller nyana wins for the rest of the continent. That question refuses to go away. Hopefully the political leaders, when they conclude in the next few hours after the closed door meetings, they will give us a sense of what will have gone on. In the next few minutes, the Chinese business community, business delegation will be giving their own sort of a rundown of how they see that investment working, who they believe they are going to be able to partner with, and where exactly the money is going to go, and whether on their own as China, the Chinese business community, they will be able to perhaps put in some more money and more resources in addition to what President Xi Jinping announced yesterday. So over the next few hours, that is what we're expecting to happen. It's back to you, Tumi, in the studio.
I'm talking on the mic, Martin.
The Chinese are having a Chinese.
We're going to have to change. I don't know. It's not easy. That cable is on the mic. I'm not sure what's going on.
So I'm going to try and see if I can get someone to them.
Okay, bona ne. Ke tlo plaka mic ona ka mo cableng ya lapel entse voyo a bua ko yona. Re utlwa re test re utlwa re ke ne.
Okay.
I'm talking on the mic, Martin.
Keep talking.
Ke a bua. Is it okay? So get cable. So, hona le cable. We can. Okay, we're gonna try change the cable, ne?
Sure.
No, mara ke lapel. Yeah? Two A. Ke kopa we check. Ke a bua. Talking on the mic.
For now, it's okay.
Are you happy?
Happy for now.
For now.
Because you know it might just come back later. Even that might just it was okay the whole time until now.
Okay.
So we'll just see as the day goes.
Sharp.
Front and strive for the goal of every country as a sovereign nation to international law should be committed to peaceful the 5 sub-regional organizations and subordinate agencies carry out such cooperation. And thirdly,
with you that just this week I had the honor of being appointed by UNAIDS under the leadership of Mrs. Sidibe as the special UNAIDS Special Advocate for the health of women, youth, and children. I am committed to using this role to help empower the women, girls, and our children of South Africa and the continent at large, and ensure that they have access to comprehensive sexual and reproductive health services. But this is not enough. In order for us to ensure an HIV-free generation across Africa, we must not forget the structural and societal issues that place our adolescent girls at risk of acquiring HIV/AIDS. Poverty, gender inequality, gender-based violence, child marriage, all of these issues hinder our youth from benefiting from the education and care that is required to ensure that they reach their full potential. Across the continent, young women are between 3 to 8 times more likely to be living with HIV than their male peers. And yet, only approximately 15% of them are aware of their HIV status. This relates directly to the fact that HIV is the leading cause of death among African adolescents, and they are the only age group where AIDS-related mortality is increasing. Ladies and gentlemen, unless we take swift action to educate and empower our youth to ensure that they can protect themselves from both HIV and teenage pregnancy, not only will we find it difficult to succeed in ensuring an HIV-free generation, but we will also risk jeopardizing the progress of our African continent. We can no longer afford to do business as usual. The sexual and reproductive health of our youth cannot be addressed without looking at the underlying factors that hinder our women and girls from accessing services. We must start in the home, at schools, and in our communities by openly acknowledging and taking resolute action to address the structural inequalities, harmful gender norms, and pervasive violence that our African sisters face. We must work with those who influence our communities, especially the traditional and religious leaders. We must invest in our young women and use innovative and comprehensive approaches that build their knowledge, confidence, and resilience so as to help them make informed choices about their sexual and reproductive health. We must deliver integrated and non-stigmatizing and youth-friendly services that respond to the needs of our youth as individuals rather than diseases. Equally important, we must educate our young men and boys ensure that they respect their mothers and sisters and help them to understand and value each and every member's role in society. This does not require us to give up our traditions or culture, but we must ensure that they do not put the health and well-being of our young women and girls at risk. Our youth are the future. They are the ones who will who will drive innovation and foster creative solutions. We must care for the orphans and vulnerable children in our communities. We have an obligation to provide them with a conducive environment that promotes their health, education, and well-being. And we must continue to drive towards elimination of mother-to-child transmission on the African continent. Some of our countries have made real progress, and others continue to struggle. Let us learn from each other and ensure that all pregnant women access health services early enough and have access to lifelong treatment, and our babies are born HIV-free. Education should begin at community level involving males, even before women fall pregnant. We have many plans, commitments, and protocols in place, from the global plan to eliminate mother-to-child transmission to the ESA ministerial commitment to the Maputo Protocol, and now, most importantly, the new Sustainable Development Goals. We have all committed to ending AIDS by 2030. And based on the progress in my own country, I believe we can succeed and also influence the other African countries which are still struggling. But we must bring all partners together, from civil society to government to the private sector, and join hands to achieve our objectives. If we speak the same voice and ensure joint advocacy from political and business leaders at the top to traditional and community leaders close to the ground, we will make more progress. But I urge us to also walk the talk. Let us hold ourselves and our partners accountable to the commitments we have made. We must unite in our action, not only in Africa, but across the globe. And for this forum, for cooperation with China, it's an important step in the right direction. In closing, I wish to end with the words from Margaret Chen, the Executive Director of WHO, which I always like to relate to whenever we meet at any platform. And he challenged each and every one of us that were present in New York in 2011. She said, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? I thank you.
Thank you, Madam Zuma. It is indeed always a great pleasure and an honor to be serving under your guidance as activists in the country. Now, in 2002, 37 African First Ladies met in Geneva, and the Organization of Africa First Ladies Against HIV and AIDS was established. A collective voice for Africa's most vulnerable people highlights the needs of women and children living and affected by HIV. The president of the organization is the First Lady of Ghana. Her Excellency, Dr. Nana Lodina Dramani Mahana, is the national president of Lodina Foundation, where she advocates for the elimination of new HIV infection amongst children and works to make sure their mothers survive and thrive. She is also actively engaged in reducing stigma and discrimination against HIV and people living with HIV. Madam Mahama, I don't want to causalise the surname, so it is Mahama. I heard Mr. Sidibe correcting me there. Thank you. We invite you to give an opening remark, Madam.
Thank you, Program Director. Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of South Africa, Madam Thobeka Madiba Zuma. Your Excellency, the First Lady of the People's Republic of China, Professor Peng. Your Excellencies, fellow First Ladies of Africa, Honorable Ministers of Health present, ambassadors and development partners, our technical advisors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here on this historic day. This event represents what I believe will be a strong and fruitful partnership between Africa and the People's Republic of China towards achieving an AIDS-free generation. This is a vision that we share and are determined to work together to realize. Upon my election as OFLA President in June 2015, I urged my sister First Lady to expand our resources and influence beyond the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV towards securing comprehensive treatment and care for all HIV-positive children. I believe that we must end AIDS among children to ultimately achieve the AIDS-free generation we all desire. The first response by Her Excellency Professor Peng and the People's Republic of China to join hands in partnership with the First Ladies of Africa is a very welcome development. Since the launch of the UNAIDS Global Plan towards the elimination of new HIV infections among children by 2015 and keeping their mothers alive, there have been some major achievements. More effective guidelines have been recommended by WHO. UNAIDS reports that we have achieved 43% decline in new HIV infection among children and 29% decrease in the number of AIDS-related deaths among women of reproductive age. Access to medicines by HIV-positive pregnant women has more than doubled, from 33% in 2009 to the current 68%. Over the last 12 years, African First Ladies have made a tremendous contribution towards ending AIDS. We have realized significant results as ambassadors for PMTCT and stigma reduction. Today, we are further strengthening by the support of China and the expertise and learning that could be potentially exchanged. We will work together hand in hand to end AIDS and to secure that healthy, prosperous, and beautiful future together. We continue to count on the growing partnership with UNAIDS, WHO, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, among others. As I conclude, I wish to acknowledge Her Excellency Madam Tobeka Madiba Zuma, First Lady of South Africa and host of this meeting, for the warm reception we have received since our arrival in her beautiful country. Your Excellencies, First Ladies of Africa, for prioritizing this forum and its agenda through your participation. Your Excellency, Professor Peng, First Lady of China, for your passion for children and graciously responding to our call. Ms. Lin Bin, Honorable Minister of the National Health and Family Planning Commission of the People's Republic of China, kindly extend the gratitude and compliments of Africa to His Excellency the President and the people of China. Ladies and gentlemen, I also wish to acknowledge Mr. Michel Sidibe, UNAIDS Executive Director, Dr. Margaret Chan, Director General of the World Health Organization, the OFLA Secretariat, and most especially our technical team for the sleepless nights you have spent on this project. And finally, the entire planning group that have made this launch a success. Thank you for your kind attention, and may God bless us all.
Thank you, Madam President, Madam Mahana. To share the story of the Organization for African First Ladies Against HIV and AIDS, we are pleased to present a video about the work of the First Ladies of Africa and their work towards an AIDS-free generation.
Since 2002, African First Ladies Against AIDS have worked to raise awareness and find solutions to challenges faced by women and children living with and affected by HIV. With the shared goal of ensuring all babies are born free from HIV. Their vision is clear: an AIDS-free generation in Africa.
Le taux de prévalence régresse. La mortalité liée à cette maladie est en recul et la survie des personnes sous traitement est réelle. Cependant, nous devons noter qu'en dépit des acquis et progrès enregistrés, des défis majeurs restent à relever pour l'accès universel de la prévention, au traitement et soins en matière de VIH-Sida.
New HIV infections have declined on the continent by 40% in the last 15 years. However, women account for more than half the total number of people living with HIV. The risk of a woman living with HIV passing the virus to her child can be reduced to 5% or less if she has access to antiretroviral therapy during pregnancy, delivery, and breastfeeding. The First Ladies have used their spotlight to bring attention and action to change people's lives. From mobile clinics caring for pregnant women, to HIV treatment for children, to economic empowerment programs for women.
Agir contre les inégalités et l'injustice, agir contre la pauvreté et les barrières économiques, agir contre les barrières culturelles et l'exclusion.
As part of the United Nations Global Goals for Sustainable Development, WAFLA has committed to helping young women and adolescent girls access education and health services. That means women survive, every child is born free from HIV, and families thrive.
In the grand scheme of things, we can consider AIDS as an entry point for improving the entire health systems. We should take advantage of resources available for HIV and AIDS, think long-term, and reinforce our noticeably fragile infrastructure. Here I mean the services, systems, facilities, and the human resources.
Together, we are on the fast track to end AIDS by 2030.
Indeed, an AIDS-free generation is possible. I am living proof of that. I remain symptom-free and have given birth to a baby daughter that does not have HIV. Now, UNAIDS is proud to have facilitated the creation of the Organization of African First Ladies Against HIV and AIDS. Mr. Michel Sidibe, who's Executive Director of UNAIDS, made the call to action for all babies to be born free from HIV and has worked closely with African countries and China to ensure that an AIDS-free generation is possible. Mothers like myself are very grateful that this call was heeded positively. And he recognizes the unique platform of the First Ladies for high-level advocacy for healthy lives around the world. Mr. Sidibe, we welcome your remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that it is an honor and privilege for me to be with you today. Excellencies, First Ladies, our host, Mrs. Zuma, and our chair, of course. I want to just to say that this meeting is happening at a great moment. It is happening at a great moment because it's just one day after the President Xi laid out a new vision, a new partnership, upgraded one between China and Africa. And this vision, constructed around 10 points, were so powerful and helping us to really bring all our energy together to fight poverty, to make sure that we transfer knowledge, we start producing medicine in Africa, and we will be able to really build our industries, This partnership will help us also to have a generation free of HIV. And I want to say today is important because we are together. You have been fighting, all of you, to give a voice to voiceless. But I want to personally thank my sister and a friend, the First Lady of China, Professor Peng. I want to say that because I met her in China. I met her before being a First Lady, and she was clearly demonstrating through her work passion and compassion. She was going down there to try to reach children without voice. She was trying to identify orphans and helping them, fighting stigma, discrimination, making sure that children could have access to services everywhere in China. And she was doing from all the different corners of this big country. Today, we are pleased she is a First Lady, and she is with us. And I am sure having her here today will help us to build a bigger partnership between China and Africa, but also with the world. Your movement you started in 2002, and I was in the room with few of you here when we started this WAFLA. Today, we can take it in other levels with the First Lady of China. We can really have a bigger movement of First Ladies of the world. And I want to say thanks also to my sister. She's hosting us, and I know her. And it's not by hazard that we decided to have her as our advocate. I remember meeting her. She was saying, baby should not, it is not acceptable that girls are carrying babies. They should carry books. And I think from that day, I realized that where we should go with her. We should go with her advocating, making sure that we don't have only babies born with HIV, but we need to have certainly our girls growing without early pregnancies, without unsafe abortion, without rape, without violence, because all of that are creating conditions for having babies born with HIV. And today we have 85 countries who are having less than 50 babies born with HIV. So just a few years back, nobody could have believed that we could do that. Cuba is today free of babies born with HIV. I'm sure soon all of you, including China, will announce that we don't have babies born with HIV in our respective countries. And that is our hope. And I'm so proud that my sister, Margaret Chan, is with us. She has been always, at least, helping me as executive director of UNAIDS. And I want to say that her support is key. She's helping us to frame, certainly, how the global health could be working, but more than that one, she's very close to Africa. And I want to thank all of you for your support. And the First Lady of Ghana, you are just a key for all of us. You are our leaders. And for this year, we count on you, and we are sure that you will help us to reach this generation free of HIV. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sidibe. Interesting how interconnected we are. I read the surname Sidibe. It sounds very much Sotho, and I've mentioned this previously. And I look at Her Excellency Mahana. It sounds very Sotho, and it also borders on Zulu. So we are indeed connected, interconnected. It's such a small world. And I'd like now, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Margaret Chan is the Director General of the World Health Organization, and she just announced ahead of World AIDS Day that all people living with HIV should have immediate access to antiretroviral therapy upon diagnosis. This announcement will generate new momentum to ensure that all pregnant women and children living with HIV can access treatment immediately. Dr. Chan, we welcome your remarks.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Excellencies, all First Ladies from Africa and First Lady from China, Excellencies, Ministers of Health, and representatives of the Diplomatic Corps, and of course, my dear brother, Michel Sidibe, ladies and gentlemen. I like to join my brother, Michel Sidibe, to say that it is indeed a great honor and a privilege to join so many First Ladies here today to advocate for an AIDS-free generation. This is your shared goal, and we commend you, and we will do our utmost to support you. I'd like to make several points. This is a very timely and a very special day because we come after at the heel of the African-China Summit meeting, where all the presidents, prime ministers, heads of governments, and heads of states commit and recommit very strong China-Africa partnership for the years to come. And I heard about the 10 points of collaboration. I'm extremely excited. Health is central to all the other points of partnership. And of course, I had the privilege previously to join After First Ladies Network. All the work you did for women, girls, men, and children, cancer, and the video show all that you have done. Actually, the video did not do you justice. You did more than that. And of course, First Lady of China, Madame Peng, you have started working in China on AIDS, championing for children, orphans, women of AIDS since 2005. It is important to mention, she did not do this after she became First Lady. She did it for now more than 10 years. So I commend your energy and your effort. And she continued to do it because I was pretty afraid after she became First Lady. I was wondering whether she would continue to do this kind of work for us. And she said, as long as you are Director General of WHO and Michel Sidibe is working in UNAIDS, she will continue to support us. So we are very much united on this. So First Ladies, let me thank you for your shared goal of an AIDS-free generation. This is a very, very ambitious goal, and yet it is feasible. Why do I say that? Because if you look at the track record of performance and success in so many countries in Africa and including in China, in the last 5 to 10 years, the reduction in deaths among women and children from all preventable causes is commendable. With that track record, I am pretty confident that with the support of the First Ladies, and all the First Men too, and this is a very achievable goal. Another important figure I just want to show you. We look at the report on burden of disease in China. China shows that, in many parts of the country, they still have many parts of the country that are quite poor and developing. The under 5 mortality is now lower than in the USA and in Canada. So, keep up with your excellent work. I mean, First Ladies are very important advocates, and they are extremely influential. Why do I say that? Have you seen the movie called, A Pillow Talk? And that's the influence First Ladies will bring. But I just want to leave you with one important figure. 190,000. 190,000. In 2014, 190,000 young African children were newly infected with HIV. This number is totally unacceptable. As everyone of you in this room know and beyond, the means to prevent that is available to all of us. And I want to use you as an example. commend you for, doing all you can to protect yourself and to protect your child. So, ladies and gentlemen, we don't need to wait. Just remember the 190,000. It's a big number that can be prevented. And I want leaders in China and in Africa, to do all they can to help the countries, the people. All we need to remember is remember the people. So, First Ladies, thank you. Keep up with your excellent work. Go.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Chen. Dr. Chen could pass as our entertainment for today. Thank you for bringing a bit of humor to this gathering. Now, before we introduce the next speaker, the First Lady of China, we would like to showcase a video. We've seen what the First Ladies in Africa have done, and now let's watch a video of her work in China. Many know her as the famous soprano. She's vocally blessed indeed. Her Excellency Prof. Li Yuan has also been a tireless advocate for social welfare issues. She also serves as World Health Organization's Goodwill Ambassador for TB and HIV. Let's watch the video.
Yeah, can you hear me? So what's happening now? What's this? Yeah. What are they talking about? Am I asking? What about creating? What are they offering, man? What are they talking about? What are they offering? What are they putting on the table? It's nice to get together and
Another round of applause. Absolutely amazing. What a heartwarming rendition and connecting to love. And all of us, we need a bit of that. If we can operate from a loving point of view, the world would be a much better place. Madam Peng is focused on improving the lives of people living with HIV and TB, especially children, as you have seen in the video. Around the world, she visits programs for children living with HIV and research institutions to better understand progress. Madam Peng, we welcome your remarks.
尊敬的祖马总统夫人，尊敬的马哈马总统夫人，非洲第一夫人抗击艾滋病联合会轮值主席，尊敬的穆塔里。
Regional integration through connectivity is a relevant pillar for Africa's development. African countries must be better linked through roads, railways, ICT, power infrastructure networks, airports, and ports. We welcome China's proposed assistance to help African countries to build smart cities, to bridge the digital divide, as well as create new poles for development. Africa is in dire need of financing for infrastructure to move to the next level of her development. In this regard, we welcome the financial package of 12 billion announced by China last year for financing African infrastructure. The setting up of the Beijing-led Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AAIB, will be of enormous benefit to the African continent as it will accelerate infrastructure development and investment in Africa. Such investment will be catalytic in our quest to facilitate regional integration. In Mauritius, the imprints of China's assistance are already visible when you land at our state-of-the-art airport. This has already allowed us to welcome many more tourists and businessmen. Excellencies, ocean economy is the next frontier for the economic expansion of many African countries. Mauritius has already adopted a national policy to develop the ocean economy as a pillar for economic growth and development in a sustainable manner. We therefore invite China to assist us in developing our ocean economy and invest in our port cities. Excellencies, in the same manner, we are grateful to China's support for Africa in international fora. We applaud China's call for a balanced, meaningful, and development-oriented outcome at the upcoming 10th World Trade Organization Ministerial Conference in Nairobi, Kenya. This will lead to a better integration of developing countries into the global trading system. China's resolute commitment at the UN General Assembly last September to the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda will undoubtedly give a strong impetus to end global poverty and to help build a life of dignity for all on a healthy planet. Excellencies, Africa faces daunting challenges. Terrorism is a major threat to the stability of the region. We share the grief and sorrow of our friends from Mali, Nigeria, Somalia, and Kenya. We believe that China can play an influential role as a responsible global power in shaping the continent's security landscape and its interrelated peace and development challenges. The measures announced by China last September at the United Nations arguably demonstrate China's proactive engagement for world peace and security. Excellencies, this has been a truly fruitful, successful, and unequal summit. It has been for a meeting of hearts and mind, reflecting the true spirit of FOCAC for the past 15 years. Let us rewrite a new chapter in the relations between China and Africa and show to the world our vision for a safer, cleaner, and prosperous planet free of war with enduring peace, justice, and solidarity among nations. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much indeed. Your statement. We now give His Excellency
2016年，中方将欢迎30名非洲儿童赴中国参加夏令营，并在中国举办 Thank you， 并在中国举办非洲艾滋病防控培训班。中方 愿动员中国民间社团向非洲提供艾滋病防控基金，支持联合国艾滋病规划署、世界卫生组织在非洲开展艾滋病防控工作，支持非洲医疗基础设施建设及妇幼健康项目。我相信，只要世界各国和国际社会齐心协力，艾滋病零死亡和零感染的梦想总有一天能够实现。让我们每个人都为全球健康、人类的福祉贡献一份力量，为共建一个没有艾滋、共同发展的美好世界而不。
People living with HIV and AIDS, as we've had, focusing on 4 pillars: care, public awareness, education, economic development. Thank you very much, Madam. The First Lady of Malawi serves as the Vice President of the Organization of African First Ladies Against HIV and AIDS. With a passion for sanitation issues, Her Excellency Gertrude Mutharika is established a Gertrude Mutharika Beautify Malawi Trust. She also advises, steers, and supports young people in education and sexual health. Madam Mutharika, before we welcome your remarks, you would want to know that I host a show on one of the television channels where we talk about sexual reproductive health, and indeed a very important intervention that is understated. We need to talk sexual health. Thank you very much for your passion. We welcome your remarks, Madam.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the People's Republic of China, Professor Peng, Your Excellency, the First Lady of Ghana and the President of Organization of First Ladies Against HIV/AIDS, Madame Mahama, Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of South Africa, our host, Madame Tobeka Zuma, thank you, the Executive Director of UNAIDS, Mr. Michel Sidibe, Dr. Chen, Director General, WHO, our distinguished partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to make this statement on behalf of Their Excellencies, the First Ladies from Southern Africa. We meet today at an important juncture in the HIV and AIDS response. At the UN General Assembly in September, heads of state unanimously committed to ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. Our actions going forward must live up to this noble goal. Your Excellencies, we must build on the remarkable achievements made in the MGD era and fast track to achieve the 90-90-90 target by 2020 and end AIDS as part of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. This is the legacy we must give our nations and future generations. How do we achieve the end of AIDS? Advances in science have generated optimism, and we have enough evidence and the tools we need to permanently change the course of the epidemic. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, achieving the UNAIDS fast-track strategy and the goal of ending AIDS by 2030 may appear ambitious, but I know it is attainable. I say so because my country, Malawi, has demonstrated that what was once thought to be impossible is achievable. Since pioneering implementation of its Option B Plus program in 2011, there was a rapid 700% increase in coverage of antiretroviral therapy for HIV-positive pregnant and breastfeeding women. Today, 8 in 10 women are receiving antiretroviral therapy, and 12,000 new HIV infections have been averted among babies. Looking ahead, there are gaps that we need to close, and in more targeted and focused ways. We need to invest strategically and efficiently in reaching population groups that have been left behind, such as children, adolescents, and young women. It is time to address teenage pregnancies and the disproportionately high rates of HIV infections in this group. Working together, we can reverse these negative trends among our girls. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, creating strategic partnerships like China-Africa Partnership Initiative provides an unprecedented opportunity to share resources and lessons and address challenges that deter access to HIV services for children, adolescents, and women. We should not be divided by geographic boundaries, but unite through our common role as First Ladies. Together, we can change. Together, we can change the course of history and end AIDS. God bless Africa. God bless China. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. You would understand why the trust is called Beautify Malawi. She looks the part too. Thank you very much. We are now going to request the rest of the First Ladies to make their remarks from where they're seated for logistical purposes. And we welcome the First Lady of Niger, Her Excellency Seta Isafo, to give her remarks.
Merci. Excellences, chères sœurs, Première Dame, Monsieur Michel Sidibé, directeur exécutif de l'ONU-SIDA, distingués invités, je m'en vais faire quelques observations concernant le sujet du jour, tout en tenant compte du contexte du VIH au plan mondial. Et ceci au nom de la sous-région ouest de l'Afrique. Au moment où nous passons des OMD aux ODD, on se réjouit de l'atteinte des OMD 6, qui est l'inversion de la tendance de la propagation du VIH dans le monde. En Afrique subsaharienne, les nouvelles infections ont diminué de 41% depuis l'an 2000. Et en 2014, il y a eu moins de 34% de décès liés au sida qu'en 2000. Dans la région de l'Afrique de l'Ouest et du Centre, en 2013, selon l'ONU-SIDA, la couverture en traitement ARV était de 23% contre 37% au niveau mondial. La situation de la couverture en traitement ARV pédiatrique est faible et est de 24%. Plus spécifiquement, la couverture moyenne en PTME était de 31%. Nous devons maintenir la tendance, certes, mais définir les conditions qui le permettent. Le combat n'est pas gagné et de gros défis persistent. Il s'agit, pour ce qui est des défis, le défi dans le dépistage, le défi dans la prise en charge, le défi dans le maintien des personnes sous traitement pour éviter l'apparition du sida et des autres infections. Malgré ces défis, nos pays sont véritablement engagés d'ici 2000, avec l'application de 3 x 90 à faire disparaître le sida d'ici.
Can you hear me, guys? Let us to have a conversation. because it's not enough to say, do we have a guest and can we talk? Because we've missed out on what we could have done. So what I was trying to understand now is whether we're staying with this, with the First Lady's thing. And I was saying what they have done now, which was to say the other ladies can speak from where they are sitting, gives us, gives us an opportunity to then say we're coming out of that thing, and then we look at what we can do from here. But what is not helping us now is that we're staying with that thing while there's no yield on it. That is the conversation I wanted us to have. To say, can't we get out of that thing? And then we organize people here. But the people who are here, for instance, when I was saying to you, can we talk? The minister from Zambia was